Ooh, that's a tough story, isn't it? So what's going on? What's going on in our passage? So if you look at that first sentence, would you like to see the time machine itself? Said the time traveler. What's he doing?
He's leading them to go to the time machine.
He what? I'm sorry, Morgan, I missed the first part.
He's leading them to go to the time machine.
Yeah, he's taking a group of people to go see his time machine. That's all he's talking about. So then they're talking about how you go down this long corridor and it was dark and there was just the one light flickering. And so then you could see his silhouette as they walked down this corridor and they were all following him. And then they get there. Thank you, everybody. I see everybody in the chat box. Thank you. Okay. Then they get there and they see what? Do they see the actual time machine? Yes or no? Yes, no, kind of, sort of, maybe. What do you think? Is the time machine there? I only have 3-4 people. Okay, Melissa, why are you saying kind of, sort of? Thank you, Stephanie. It talks a lot about the time machine. But if we look here, let me see. And how there in the laboratory we beheld a larger edition of the little mechanism which we had seen vanish from before our eyes. So he had a little model of it. And here they saw a larger version of it. So the time machine's there, but it says parts were of nickel, parts of ivory, parts had certainly been filed or sawn down of rock crystal. The thing was generally complete. So is it done yet? Has he finished it? No, because it says it was generally complete. Yes, thank you, Sonia. It was generally complete. So the whole thing was not done yet. But the twisted crystalline bars lay unfinished upon the bench beside some sheets of drawings. And I took up one for a better look at it. So the narrator is one of the guests that is there with him. Okay, does that make sense? He's not the time traveler himself. Okay. All right, so our question says, how does the story's setting influence its plot? So when you see those questions, it's saying, how does the setting influence the story? Remember, the plot is the story. Don't get hung up on the vocabulary. You know what it is. The plot is the story. Okay, so how does the setting influence the story? So it's taking place in this long corridor. They're heading down to this laboratory, and it says the darkness of the room emphasizes the seriousness of the machine. The shadows mirror the character's uncertainty. The flickering light shows the possibilities. The jaunty corridor forces the characters to follow the time traveler. How does this setting influence the story? Or move along the story? So 1, 2, 3, or 4. Thank you, Morgan. You're on it today. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, or 4, guys. Give it a try. Can't not try on a STAR test. Okay, so the darkness of the room emphasizes the seriousness of a machine. Does a dark room make something serious? No, it makes it scary, doesn't it? It's not dark, it's not serious. So 1 doesn't work. Lots of you had either 2 or 4. So then we look at 3. The flickering light shows the possibilities. Possibilities of what? I don't know. I don't know how the flickering light affects the story. Okay, because remember, we want to know, how does the setting influence the story? Okay, how's it affecting the story? So that leaves us with 2 and 4. The daunting corridor forces the characters to follow the time traveler. Does that influence the story? Does it matter that they're walking down this corridor and following the time traveler? Does that matter? Or does the shadows mirror the character's uncertainty? What do you think? 2 or 4? So if you look, are the characters in the story, especially our narrator, are they really sure about this time travel thing? No, they're not. Okay, because they even talk about, are you serious? Is this like that ghost you showed us last Christmas? So they're not real sure about this. So they're kind of uncertain, aren't they? So when you look at it, it should be 2. The shadows mirror the character's uncertainty. They're uncertain about what's going on. Yeah, you're thinking of the setting here when they're walking down the corridor, but does that really move the story along? No, this one does, because the characters are uncertain what to expect. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what's coming next, and that's going to move your story along. It leaves you curious. Well, what the heck is going to happen? Is this guy going to finish this time machine? Are they all going to go in the time machine? It leaves you with questions. And that's what something does when it's moving the plot along. It makes you question or wonder. Okay? The other 3 don't. They're just telling you what happened. Does that make sense? So if something's moving it along, it makes you want to keep reading and find out. I get you probably don't want to keep reading this, but it could if somebody was interested in it. The other ones do not at all. There's no hint of curiosity